Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Humza Yousaf, it is claimed, is not the First Minister of Scotland. He is merely the leader of the SNP, and barely that. This is because he does nothing for the good of Scotland. Everything he does is purely to advance the cause of independence and to push the SNP forward, regardless of the cost to Scotland or the Scottish people. And today they unleashed their 28th attempt at pushing independence referendum. They've launched a prospectus, paid for, of course, out of public funds, even though this is a party political matter. One has to question how honest that is. So we'll take a look at this to see the latest in a line of failures, because at no point have they ever convinced the Scottish people that independence is anything other than a really bad idea. And no matter how many glossy brochures they produce, they're never going to swing people over, because most people in Scotland aren't stupid. Well, have a look at this. Here goes. So Humza Yousaf is no First Minister of Scotland. He only cares about what's good for the SNP. The launch of yet another taxpayer-funded paper on independence proves the SNP leader simply isn't interested in what the Scottish public wants. No, only what his party members want. That's a terrible look, isn't it? He's got the look of someone who he knows the truth is coming out and he's trying to smile and hope that nobody notices. Yeah, and then there's the Union flag in the background. Obviously, that's been mocked up by the paper. That's not that's not the official picture that went out, I suspect. But there he is with his little glossy brochure, trying to convince people to come and live in his utopia. God, it'd be awful, wouldn't it? One of the advantages, of course, of living in the United Kingdom is that you've got all the things as part of the United Kingdom that you would never have as an independent Scotland. And let's face it, if you went, he wants to be an independent. He wants an independent Scotland, but so that he can be a world leader. He's a leader of a nation. It makes him important. It fills his little ego. But the trouble is, he wouldn't be invited anywhere because he's too small for the G7. He fails on the entry mechanism for the United Nations, not the United Nations, NATO. The EU don't want him because it would cost them a fortune, and also Spain would vote against it because of Catalonia, so he wouldn't get in the EU. United Nations, it doesn't let you in straight away, and when they do let you in, they only let you in as an associate till you show that you are not just a fledgling country, but you are a full, legitimate country. So it usually takes about 5 years for full membership there. So you've got nobody going to the UN in any meaningful way. What's left? Boy Scouts? There's not a lot there. Anyway, Humza Yousaf is in a hole. His warring party can see its popularity plummeting, while his predecessor is at the centre of a scandal as several of her controversial policies begin to unravel, most of them. He refuses to distance himself from Nicola Sturgeon because he owes his job to her. He's so closely aligned with her that if she does fall totally, he is finished, and he's not making that distance, is he? He needed something to distract from this chaos and rally the troops, and so he's reached for the nationalist comfort blanket. Cue the launch of yet another taxpayer-funded paper on independence, the one topic feuding SNP members all agree on. Do you know, he's very much like the Argentina of Britain, isn't he? When Argentina's in deep, deep financial trouble, whoever's leading it goes, "Oh, Falklands! Oh, we've got to go get the Falklands back. Where are we?" Because that's trying to distract people from the fact that everything is falling apart around them. Well, Humza Yousaf, and any of them, they're all the same. As soon as it's all starting to unravel, independence! Independence is the new Falkland Islands as far as the Scottish National Party is concerned, isn't it? Anyway, as people up and down Scotland grapple with the cost of living crisis and a Scottish NHS in meltdown, in due part to his troubled tenure as Health Secretary, and indeed the entire 16 years of SNP rule, Humza Yousaf's priority is to push yet again for independence because it's all he's got. He's got nothing else. Nothing he does, and I mean nothing he does, has come from his own party at the moment. The only thing they've got is independence. Everything else is falling around them. I've got a story brewing, which will be coming up this morning, about he's going to try and do a push to oust the monarchy from Scotland should they get independence. But this isn't his idea. No. This is a Greens idea. Yet again, another Greens idea that's utterly failing because everything they do fails. I said yesterday when I was doing the Lorna story with the vote of confidence that every single idea that's come out recently has all been from the Greens. They've all failed because they're all from the Greens because the SNP have run out of ideas, and they're all failed because they're from the Greens. And they think, oh, well, so you've got Ross Greer, the world's soyest of soy boys, talking hard. He's talking hard. Honestly, he's about as intimidating as Alan Carr, you know. So he's sitting there, he's talking hard about, we wanted a Republican. We're going to get rid of the monarchy and whatever. And that's fine. If that's your view, I don't care. Don't care about your views. But it's the way he's doing it. He's going to do this, and we're going to do this. No, you're going to propose it. You're not going to do it. You're going to propose it. It's going to go to the Scottish people. If anyone does it, the Scottish people will do it. But first of all, you've got to get independence. And let me tell you, that ain't happening. So it's a pipe dream from a little soy boy. But it's the way he speaks with such authority. He hasn't even been voted into a constituency. He's like all of the Greens. He's a list MP. Because there was just enough mentally ill people in Scotland to give enough votes to get 7 Greens into power. Unbelievable, isn't it? Anyway, rather than getting back to Humza Yousaf, I keep doing this tangent time. Anyway, rather than focus on the real priorities of the public, he would rather divide them along constitutional lines once again in a desperate bid to shore up his precarious position. He is teetering on the edge. He's on the last step on that plank off that boat. Because he is so tightly aligned with everything that went before, and everything is coming up. And it isn't just the potential fraud. You've got all the sex allegations, as well as ones that haven't yet been made, which I can't talk about. But trust me, I can't. When that comes out, it'll blow you. Anyway, you got that. You got the COVID thing, where there could well be a lot of criminal charges going around there, and he's kept closely aligning himself with these people. He is in deep doo-doo, let me tell you. Anyway, the latest paper, which is set to be followed by a needless parliamentary debate next week, is full of the usual holes and talks up the SNP's reckless plans to ban nuclear weapons in an independent Scotland, thus taking away a lot of very highly paid, highly skilled jobs out of Scotland and replacing them with nothing. They've got no plans. Meanwhile, the submarines just come down the bottom. Portsmouth, Plymouth, who knows, somewhere like that. Bang. All those jobs come south. He loses all the jobs. He loses all the money. He loses all the income from that. And he loses, of course, all the income tax that he would have had otherwise. That's all gone. Because all these people are moving south because they're the experts and they're getting paid money to go south. Well done. He's a man's a moron. They're all morons. We know they're morons. Why am I telling you? Know they're morons. I know they're morons. They're morons. Anyway, this, he said, it is just crazy. Anyway, not content with inflicting IndyRef 2 on Scots, the SNP want yet another referendum. Should they succeed in breaking up the UK on whether King Charles should remain the head of state, as I've just said. And this is more shameless pandering to the anti-monarchist base in the SNP and in the Greens. And the Scots' love of the royal family was demonstrated both in the grief displayed at Her Majesty's passing last year and in the celebration of the King's coronation. And we only have to look back, if you remember, and cast your minds back just not quite a year, September time, wasn't it, when the Queen died. And there was that little chippy. And she was like, hey, the witch is dead, and she's popping the champagne corks. Gone. The whole thing, gone. The windows were stoved in. She had to move. She's giving it up. She had to sell the shop. Gone. Done. Dusted. How does she feel? I think she misjudged the feelings of people. There may be a few anti-monarchists, of course. But I think, on the whole, there's an awful lot that aren't. And you've got to remember, there's an awful lot of people who've served in the military. And they're the ones. So should it come to it, who are the ones that are trained? You know, you've got to be very careful. Anyway, this is not about what the Scottish people want. Just rounding off here, it's not about what the Scottish people want. Humza Yousaf is an SNP leader, at least for now, but he is the First Minister of Scotland in name only. And not really even in name, and he's not even the leader of his own party, because they do criticise him. Down in Westminster, they're criticising him. Mary Black, when she lifts her head out of that bowl of the white stuff long enough, sits and slags him off all the time. You have Beryl Flynn, he's down there. He's not entirely happy with what's happening. You've got a lot now. You're seeing a lot of the backbenchers, MSPs particularly, starting to see that they're about to lose their seat come the next Scottish elections, Scottish parliamentary elections. They see that they could lose a lot there. You've got the Scottish MPs at Westminster going, because it's all related. And yeah, he's barely hanging on by a fingernail. And it'd be such a shame, wouldn't it? Oh, it would be such a shame if he went, because it's just a joke. The party's a joke, isn't it? Of course, the only trouble is, if he goes, it's going to be Kate. And she isn't stupid. I mean, she's really not. She's a very, very intelligent woman. I don't know if she can. I think she could. I think she could pull the party together. Because I think she would not make the mistakes he would make. She would bring a cabinet in with his side of the fence as well as her own side. So I think she would unite the party, and I think she would be resistant to change. I think that if Kate Forbes came in as leader anytime soon, I think the SNP could build core support back a little bit. I don't think it'll save their general fortunes. I still think they'll lose a lot of seats, but I think maybe not as many. Put it that way. I think she'd stop the rot a little bit. I think it's too late to save the sinking ship, but I think she'd stop the rot, and I think that's the only direction of travel. Not that I want that to happen. He's brilliant. I love him. And I tell you what as well, there's a little last aside, and then I'm going to top this video. But I'm almost going to miss Lorna Slater, because every day I get up and I go, what's Lorna done today? And I can make a video out of it. If she's not there, it's like glum, isn't it? But anyway, I shall round up and come up. I seem to be having a rather good day today. I think I've started well, because if you take the midnight when I launched the Lorna Slater one, obviously that was just brilliant. I just couldn't believe that, me luck. Then I woke up this morning and bang, and we're straight in, and we've got the Rutherglen by-election petition going out, and now we've got the world's dumbest man, the world's worst leader, waving his little piece of paper like Neville Chamberlain. What didn't turn out so well for him, did it? And of course, I'm just laughing at all this because we know that they are ridiculous. Oh, everything's failing. Independence. It's a joke, isn't it? Well, what do you do? What do you do? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Sorry, I do this. I just find myself. I'm just in a very good mood. Makes a change, doesn't it? Often I get angry. Probably will later. I've seen some of the stories I'll be doing later. I will get angry. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And we are getting so close to the 5,000 now. So do please hit the button if you can, because it would really, really help if you subscribed. Anyway, until next time, stay safe, stay well. We'll keep fighting for the truth, and goodbye.